hit go live and it didn't do anything.
Okay,
All
it's
right,
all
here
good.
we thank you so much for tuning into the Ultimate Business Conversation. And it is a new year, and we're celebrating. It's Black History Month. And I am so glad that I waited until Black History Month to start the Ultimate Business Conversation again. So I am happy to have my friend, whenever I call on him, Mr. Leroy Allen. I call him the executive leadership coach because that's what he does. And I
Absolutely.
am so excited. And what we're going to discuss today is how to get yourself ready to be the ultimate business leader in 2022, because we have been going through so much in the past 3 years with the pandemic. A lot of us have lost our mojo, as I say. A lot of us have lost our drive and our determination,
Mhm.
and in our drive, determination, our will, because we've had to stay inside. We've had to create a new normal, which was the virtual world, and we're all used to going out interacting with each other, and we had to change that for the past 3 years. Things
Mhm.
are starting to more people are starting to go out, but a lot of people, I feel, have been lax when it comes to their business because of the pandemic. A lot of people have lost clientele. They're not
Mhm.
making the money they used to make. And now that 2022 is here and they see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though it may rain, they see that the rainbow is almost there. They're ready to get back into their business. And I felt that this would be a good conversation to have. How
Mhm.
to be ready and be that ultimate business leader for 2022. And a person who can make sure that you are a good business leader when it comes to your business is Mr. Leroy Allen. And I want him to give you his credentials so you'll know who he is and why he is the expert, the business educator when it comes to leadership in business. So, Mr. Allen, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
First of all, thank you very much, Danya. I so appreciate you, and it's certainly a pleasure to be in your mix this evening on the Ultimate Business Conversation. Where, of course, as it is said, we're just simply going to have healthy conversation, is what we're all about, here this evening. Again, my name is indeed Leroy Allen. I am the CEO and founder of the Life Enhancement Consulting Group and program director of the Life Enhancement Coaching Institute. Prior to that, I spent 11 years in the finance industry, wearing the hat of a financial advisor as well as a real estate broker, all in this at the same time. And so, given that, in 2012, I made a transition. I took, as they say, that quantum leap of faith, and I stepped into the coaching and consulting industry. And when I stepped into the coaching and consulting industry, I was, very much aware of the fact that, one, as a business owner, it was my responsibility not to be a part of the problem, but to solve the problem. So I come to the table with 18 years of experience as a full-time entrepreneur. I come to the table having been one who has pursued his master's degree in organizational leadership at Regents University as well as Harvard Business School. So these are all things that I've been able to do over time and period, of course. And of course, like with anything else, Danya, it costs you something to get something. It costs you something to get something. And so I'm excited about being here. And I believe that, what I have to say is going to infuse good times and happy times in somebody's life this evening. So that's me. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I muted myself so that you could talk. That's why
Right.
I really wanted to have you on, because I think that this is a good topic to have.
Yes.
Because for myself, for example, September, from like October to December, I was just not active. I mean, I didn't feel like doing my business. I was just worn out and tired.
Sure.
And then when I was ready for January to get back into the business, I got Corona, and that knocked me out for another 3 weeks. And it's really important for you to really have a coach, to me, who, especially during this time, who
Right.
has the knowledge, especially when it comes to your leadership skills. How can you handle tough situations like what happened? So what is one piece of advice that you have been giving to your clients during this pandemic, when it comes to, you know, not giving up on themselves or their business?
Sure. There are a few things here, Danya. The first conclusion that I have come to, at least one of them, I'll say, and I would ask, all those who are under the sound of our voice to give this your attention. The first thing is you have to know that as a leader and as an entrepreneur, the goal will never be the destination. The goal will never be the destination. The goal will always be the process. The goal will never be the destination as an entrepreneur or as a leader. The goal will always be the process. And the reason being is because within the process, new habits are formed. And anything that is considered to be a habit has become a practice. And it's within the practice where one comes into contact with his or her identity. Identity as it
Exactly.
relates to who I am, where I'm going, and how I'm going to get there. Over here, on this side of my office to do great work, right? We have an acronym as relates to who I am, where I'm going, and how I want to get there, called the WWH. And we relate to that on a consistent basis. And so if I had to share one thing, maybe even two or more, with every leader and every entrepreneur, whether you are emergent or seasoned, it is this: your goal is not the destination. Your goal is the process, not the destination. And yes, are you going to grow weary at times? Yes, indeed. But at the same time, guess what? All of us are working through a level of uncertainty and always has been. One of the things that this pandemic has brought to my attention, it has made me aware that everybody, no matter what your educational level is, no matter how long you've been an entrepreneur or leader, everybody is working from a level playing field. Everybody is working from a level playing field. There is no such thing as really you got more than me or I got more than you and all of that kind of stuff no more. That's not the way the game is played anymore. The game is played from a standpoint of understanding that, yes, the goal is not the destination. The goal is the process. And why? Because new habits are formed through process. You see, I believe that there are some leaders and entrepreneurs who get it mixed up. They get it mixed up from the standpoint that it's not the actions that you take or the action steps that you take that guarantee success. It is the habits you employ. So it has to be about the process where new habits are formed. New habits are formed in the process. It's not formed in the steps you take, because there are multiple steps, Danya, that you and I have taken for many different things. But that doesn't mean that the end was the way we expected it to be. That doesn't mean that. And I know for a fact that it has not been for me, that the end has always been the way that I expected it to be. But what I did get out of that is that, yes, new habits are formed through process. So therefore, it put me in a position to be able to learn. So as relates to the pandemic, as relates to conditions, guess what? I don't lose anything. I have to come to the understanding that I learn everything. So with that, if I don't lose everything and I learn everything, I am asking and saying to every leader and every entrepreneur under the sound of my voice to do what you have to do to keep what excites you in front of you. Do what you have to do to keep what excites you in front of you. If it's about writing that book, keep that process in front of you. If it's about that relationship, that special relationship, keep that process in front of you. Why? Because it makes you feel some kind of way. Why? Because it infuses good times and happy times in your life. There are times with my clients, Danya, where I ask them to tell me about a specific goal that they was able to obtain. And the reason why I asked them to tell me about that specific goal that they were able to obtain is because when you experience something good, it makes you feel some kind of way. It makes you feel excited to talk about it. So why would I not ask them to talk about it? And then what it also allows me to do, Danya, it also allows me to void any excuses that they may bring to the table that says that I cannot reach my highest and best potential. It voids it from the top of the conversation. It voids it. So I always refer it to them and say, hey, tell me about a goal that you obtained, a specific goal that you obtained. You see what I'm saying? Tell me about that goal. And normally when they are telling me about that goal, what does it do? It infuses good times and happy times in their lives. You can hear it coming in through their conversation. Because anytime you achieve something good, you want to talk about it. The problem is, I believe, with some leaders and entrepreneurs, even for those that, would consider themselves to be seasoned leaders, I believe that they don't get a chance to talk about their accomplishments and achievements with people because the people that they may want to talk to them about are not for them. So they become envious and they become jealous of something that, we're one, all I'm trying to do is be a blessing to you. And, because again, all of us are playing from a level playing field. Every last one of us are playing from a level playing field in that regard. And so that's something that I would say to every leader and every entrepreneur, whether you're seasoned or, you are an emerging leader or entrepreneur, understand that the goal is not the destination. The goal is the process.
I love what you said. The goal is not the destination, it's the process. It's what you go through to reach your goal. It's
Absolutely.
the steps you take to reach your goal. And I think a lot of times we focus more on the finish line instead of focusing on the path to that finish line. We don't look at the steps to get to that finish line. We don't look at the steps to get to that goal. And when you take each step gets you closer to your goal. And like you said, you learn as you go on this road. And that's one thing I've realized, that as you are an entrepreneur, business owner, you learn and grow as a person. And you have to. And you have to be willing to change what you have been doing. Because everything, just because you did something 5 years ago and it was successful, won't be successful. Like when the pandemic hit, a lot of people were more successful with their business through one-on-one personal contact. And a lot of people refuse to embrace doing things virtual, doing things, on the internet,
Absolutely.
And a lot of people failed to realize that you could reach more people doing it virtually. And you can have that one-on-one contact with them virtually as well. And networking, online and networking, in person, it all works for your business. So how do you tell your clients, how do you teach your clients to be willing to be open to new things?
Wonderful question. Wonderful question, Danya. I'm so glad that you asked that question. Here's what I have been telling my clients. Here's what you have to know. Everything, Danya, everything concerning us has a shelf life. And let me tell you how universal the fact is that everything has a shelf life. Danya, if you and I right now, right, we decided that we were going to have a cookout. And we're going to invite those people who have our answer and not our problem. I'm going to say that again. We're going to invite those people who have our answer and not our problem. Everything has a shelf life to it. You and I, in order, as we are inviting these people, we also know that we're going to have to make market. We're going to have to purchase some groceries. Okay. So now, as we go about the business of purchasing groceries, one of the two things that's going to go on that grocery list, right, is bread and milk. Bread and milk. This is how universal a understanding that everything has a shelf life to it. Danya, when you and I go to the market to purchase groceries and bread and milk is on that list, guess what? We don't go and purchase bread and milk without looking at the date. We don't go without looking at the date. Why? Because it has a shelf life to it. So if something so simple as bread and milk has a shelf life to it, you can best believe that whatever you was doing, whatever your norms was, or whatever your normals were before this pandemic, they are no more a part of your life. Because the same thing that got you that $100,000 a year job is not the thing that will keep you there at this point in time. It's not the thing that will keep you there. And this is another way of saying the goal should never be the destination. The goal is the process and always will be the process. The goal is never the destination, but everything has a shelf life to it. Every single solitary thing. It is recorded statistically. It is documented very well that whatever skill that you have right now, it has a shelf life to it. And that shelf life is anywhere between 5 to 7 years. So as a result of that, here's what I have decided, Danya. I have decided that, yes, I am a lifetime learner. I'm a lifetime learner. And so I have made a commitment even before the pandemic came to be about us that I was going to attend a class in some way or another, be it in person or online, for the next 5 years of my life. Because I have to, as the times change with me, I have to change with the time. That's how that goes. As the time change where you are concerned, Danya, you got to change right along with it. You got to change right along with it. And so therefore, there are a number of things that whether it's myself or you, Danya, or anybody that's under the sound of our voice, we have gone to school for certain things that no longer fit anymore. You see what I'm saying? They no longer fit. And so it's just like when I remember when I was going forward to in my real estate days, I was going forward, Danya, to take my exams for as a real estate broker. And one of the things that I came to understand was this: only 40%, not even 50, 35% of everything I learned became my reality. I'm going to say that again, Danya. 35% of what I learned became my reality. Where did the other part of it go? It was just a part of the process. It was just a part of the process. So therefore, if I only use 35% of what I learned, then I should be open for change. I should be open for new possibilities. And I should be open for nothing short of excellence. Nothing short of that. I should be open for that. 365 days of the year. Yeah.
And that makes sense because that's what I made a commitment to myself that starting this month, I'm going to read a book every month because I was lacked on that last year. And I'm going to register and take some courses. Like, for example, Google has courses. Like if you're an educator, they have courses. LinkedIn has courses, like if you want to look for a job, if you want to write your resume, LinkedIn is a great place when it comes to your business and your career because they offer you free courses. And also a lot of universities, like Georgetown, Harvard, Yale, they are offering courses where you can get certificates and it doesn't even cost that much. You
It
take the course for free, but if you
Yeah.
want that certificate, you have to pay for it, and it's not that expensive. Because imagine getting a certificate from Harvard or Yale, and I know their tuition is about $40,000 per year,
Absolutely.
and that might be an understatement right now.
Right.
So I always feel that you need to learn and grow, no matter how old you are.
Oh, no
And I
question.
have another question. How do you deal with like your older clients, like 50 and older, who may feel that, oh, I'm too old to learn that? What do you tell them? Because I find a lot of people in our age gap, they always feel like, oh, I've learned all that I'm going to learn. And I don't think that's true. I don't believe in that. I think that you should be always in learning mode
No
until
question.
God calls you home.
I so agree with you. Danya, I will tell you this. My my spiritual mother is right now, she's 80 right now. At 75 years of age, Danya, and this is what I've been telling my clients. At 75 years of age, she got her master's degree at 75. So don't try to tell me, I'm the wrong person to tell that you're too old to learn. When people tell me that, I often raise my spiritual mother up in front of them and tell them she's 75. And if she can do it, why can't you? So that doesn't work very well with me. As I said, every leader, every entrepreneur, you have to take on the mindset that you are a lifetime learner. You have to take on that mindset, and you have to function as if as though you are that. Why? Because as a leader and as an entrepreneur, you get paid to solve problems. And if a client comes about where you cannot solve a problem, you are taking food out of your own mouth, is what you're doing. But the job of the entrepreneur, or the duties of an entrepreneur, is to solve problems. Whose problem are you solving? What? I tell you what. Yeah, whose problem are you solving? Comes to be the question. It's not, and what I know to be this as well. I have come to learn that God will give you more on your way than you had before you got started. What you have to do is just put one foot in front of the other. What you have to do is know and understand that you have the capacity to perform no matter how old you are. I have already made up my mind that when I'm 85 years of age, I could be sitting in a classroom getting something. When I'm 85, because of what I've seen my spiritual and surrogate mother do. At 75, Danya, she was going for her master's and got it. So one cannot pull that over on me. Not me. That wouldn't work. That's not going to work with me. But my job, my duty as an organizational leader is to always be equipped and ready to fulfill the call. Because you see, Danya, I'll give you this. There are two types of gaps that every leader and every entrepreneur must come face to face with. And the first gap is an opportunity gap. We're talking about as leaders and entrepreneurs solving the problem. There's what we call an opportunity gap, and there's what we call a performance gap. Right? The opportunity gap comes with the understanding and the duty of the leader and or the entrepreneur to fill the gap or identify the gap. The performance gap comes with the duty and the responsibility of the leader or the entrepreneur to identify the gap and close the gap, or fill the gap and close the gap. So you have, on one hand, the duty of the entrepreneur is to identify the gap. On the other hand, under the performance gap, the leader and the entrepreneur is to fill the gap and close the gap. Now, let me show you how universal this information is that I'm giving you this evening. Danya, if you take your car right now to get your car serviced, and you're getting it serviced to get an oil change, is what you're getting as it relates to your car. Through that process, the technician takes your car through what we call an opportunity gap and a performance gap. All you took your car there to do was to get an oil change. He comes back out through the measure of the opportunity gap and says unto you, I identified this problem also. I identified that problem also. And the reason why it's important to understand the principle of the opportunity gap and the performance gap is because it is indeed the one thing, Danya, that gives you the best opportunity in the marketplace to leverage money, time, opportunity, ideas, and technology. It gives you the best opportunity to do that. But if you look at the technician and how he goes about leveraging his money, his time, opportunity, relationship, and technology, it is through and by way of the process that he engages in without you even knowing about it, called an opportunity gap and a performance gap. There is no room for second guessing when you introduce your clients to what we call an opportunity gap and a performance gap. You're there to fill the gap. You're there to close the gap. That's what you're there for. And so, in other words, it validates what I just got finished saying, which is you are a problem solver. And you get paid big money to solve problems.
Makes a lot of sense. I love that performance gap and opportunity gap.
Yeah.
See, that's why I have these guest educators on here, because I learned a lot. Opportunity gap, you identify the gap. Performance gap, you close the gap. It's like basically you identify the problem and you solve the problem.
And
that's basically what a good leader does. And what are the top 5 qualities that you try to teach your clients to make sure they become great business leaders? What are the 5 tips that you normally try to teach your clients?
Okay. The first one is consistency. Consistency. One of the things, Danya, I tell you this. I have been sitting under one pastor for 30 years of my life. And trust and believe when I tell you, I know exactly what organizational leadership looks like. It is through that process where I've come to understand that if you want to know the depth of any leader, any entrepreneur, I don't care male or female, I don't care what their educational level is, look at the level of their consistency. Look at the level of their consistency. So that's number 1, consistency. The second one is stewardship. Stewardship. Stewardship from the standpoint of a leader and an entrepreneur, that leader and entrepreneur has to understand that they do not exchange hours for dollars. They do not exchange hours for dollars. As a leader and as an entrepreneur, as it relates to stewardship, you exchange ideas for dollars. You exchange ideas for dollars. And the third one is you have to know that you are.
Leroy, I hate to interrupt you, but can you say that one more time? You do not exchange what for dollars?
You do not exchange hours for dollars. You exchange ideas for dollars.
Not knowledge, but ideas. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. You do not, as a leader and as an entrepreneur, you do not exchange hours for dollars. You exchange ideas for dollars, is how that works, right? And then, of course, the third one is you have to know that you know that you know that you are not the facilitator of somebody else's time. You are the principal of your own time.
Wow, that's
You
deep.
are not the facilitator of somebody else's time. You are the principal of your own time. Because being the facilitator of somebody else's time put you in a position to be a manager of someone else's affairs. When you are the principal of your own affairs. And if you become the manager of someone else's affairs, when you're supposed to be the principal of your very own affairs, you become a babysitter. You become a babysitter. So, no, you cannot half pay me. It's not acceptable. As an organizational leader, you cannot pay me half price and tell me that you're going to pay me in 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks, I can't find you, because then I become a manager of somebody else's time when I'm the principal of my own time.
That's
Yes, I
good.
do. Yes, I do offer payment options. But best trust and believe is by way of a systematic approach that we're going to hit your account in 14 days. Because
That
again,
makes sense.
because again, I am the principal of my own time. I'm not a good facilitator of somebody else's time. And again, I do not exchange hours for dollars. I exchange ideas for dollars.
That makes sense.
And it's all a part of your organizational leadership makeup. It's all a part of your profile. And my profile says, by way of my credentials, that I'm in a position to decide when I get paid and how much I get paid.
Wow.
And if you can't afford it, okay, that's fine. Call me when you're ready. Call me when you're ready. But I am by no means in a position to be a babysitter of somebody else's affairs, because I am a planner of my own affairs. And when you have that approach, you don't have to worry about being envious or jealous of somebody else. You don't have to worry about what's going on in somebody else's
That's true.
backyard. Whatever is going on in their backyard, wonderful. Congratulations. But what I got going on over here, it's all a part of my vision. It's all a part of who I am. And what is a vision? A vision is an image of a common attraction. We have, Danya, 2 business models that we work
Mm-hmm.
and with on this end, where I serve and where I work. The first business model is called My Vision is My Weapon. The second business model for success is called Unplugged Potential. A vision, of course, is an image of a common attraction. Now, check this out, Danya. A vision is an image of a common
Mm-hmm.
attraction. Unplugged potential is what you haven't done yet. There is such a high level of synergy between both of them if you look at the key words. The key words of the definition of the first definition is a common attraction. The key words of the second definition is what you haven't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, with the synergy that comes between the two, if you have to come to a summary right now, Danya, you could very well say that it ain't where I'm at, it's where I'm going. I'm a common attraction. It's about what I haven't done yet. So that means I'm not content, I'm not satisfied with where I am, and it's not about where I am, it's where I'm going. And this is where your identity come into play. Because remember, I said it's about who I am, where I'm going, and how I'm gonna get there. It's about that.
Yeah.
So with that, if you sum up with the synergy that comes with both business models for success, I'm not doing anything but saying it ain't about where I'm at, it's where I'm going. If that ain't a hook, I don't know what is.
That's good.
If that ain't a hook, I don't know what is. So when you look at the fact that it's not about where you are, but it's about where you're going, That's where you also come into contact, Danya, with the performance gap or the opportunity gap, as well as the performance gap. Trust me when I tell you, you take your car to get the service tomorrow, they're gonna come to you and tell you, oh no, you need more than an oil change. You need tires,
Mm-hmm.
you need all that. Why? Because they have ran your car through the system of an opportunity gap and a performance gap.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And their job is to identify the gap, fill the gap, and then close it. Why? Because it helps their bottom line.
Exactly.
It helps their bottom line. Because it's not enough just to identify the gap. You have to fill the gap and then close it. So, yes, another way of looking at it is saying, I cross-sold and upsold you.
That's good. I
Yeah,
like that.
I cross-sold
Yeah.
you and I upsold you.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
think this is a good conversation to have because it's really motivating me. And Daniel said exactly focus on where you are going. And I like what you said about opportunity gap and
Performance gap.
performance gap.
Yeah.
Because I noticed since I've been looking for opportunities
Yeah.
and seeing them and not waiting, because I used to procrastinate and wait. And now I've been looking for opportunities, partnerships. And as soon as something comes up, I put a mental note to myself, I'm going to get this done by tomorrow. And since I've been doing that, I've been able to create partnerships with government agencies, organizations, because I'm not sitting on the opportunities anymore. Because I used to sit, I was a procrastinator.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, but I've learned to not sit on the opportunities anymore.
Absolutely. You can't. You see, and that's where I believe a lot of people get sidetracked at. They're sitting and they're waiting on the opportunity. If I could borrow the words from one of my mentors who said, you don't sit and wait on an opportunity. If it don't come, you go create one.
That's
You
right.
go create one. You go create one. Because at the end of the day, just because there is no opportunity in front of you, that doesn't mean that there's not one coming around the corner. But the question is, are you in position to be able to embrace or receive that which is coming? See, a lot of us, Danya, and I've come to learn this, a lot of us, Danya, don't see beyond where we are. We don't see beyond where we are. We see in the here and now.
That's true.
But we don't see beyond where we are. And that comes with the same notion or the same idea that we expressed earlier, where we said, guess what? Everything has a shelf life to it. In fact, let me tell you this, Danya. Anybody right now who's speaking the kind of language, Danya, that says, oh, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to be comfortable. I don't have to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. Guess what? I got news for you. You ain't gonna never find comfort. You ain't gonna never find it.
You are absolutely right. You are right.
You are never going to find comfort. So if it is your thing that you just want to be comfortable, you don't want to be rich, you don't want to be this, that, or the third, I hate to be the one to tell you, but comfort is nowhere, that does not have your name on it. It does not have your name on it. What I have come to learn, that it is far more better for me to chase the truth rather than comfort. Because if you give me my own truth, if you give me my own information, I can create my own inspiration. You see what I'm saying? But comfort, oh no, you won't find that. And even even when you find truth, Danya, right? You might get a little bit of comfort. You might.
Exactly.
You might get a little bit of comfort, but you don't find comfort before truth. Oh no. That doesn't work that way. You look, and before I took on the mindset that I have now through my learning and my experiences, Danya, I can tell you that I was one that would say, oh, I don't have to be rich. I just want to be comfortable. But I have come to learn, in particular as it relates to this pandemic, there is no such thing as comfort. There is no
Nope,
such thing.
it sure isn't.
And so if you're looking for comfort as an entrepreneur, as a leader, I'm here to tell you that you're not going to find it. What you need to be chasing more than
That's
anything
true.
else is truth. And when you find truth, you might get a little bit of comfort. You might. But comfort does not come before truth as a leader and as an entrepreneur. I can tell you that with assurance, or assurance, should I say, that you don't get comfort where we are right now. The benefit in knowing that, Danya, is that you have to know, in particular now, as it relates to this pandemic, all of us are working through a level playing field. Every last one of us.
Exactly.
And it doesn't matter my education, Danya, yours, the next person, the experience, whatever the case may be, the color of your skin, it does ethnic setting, background, it does not matter. We all are working from a level playing field. And the sooner that every leader and every entrepreneur come to understand that, guess what? Everybody is going to be in the best place, or in a very good place, should I say. Everybody is going to be in that place.
That is so true.
Everybody is going to be in that place. But comfort? No. And if you don't believe me, turn on the TV. Turn on CNN. Just see how comfortable you are with what you hear.
You are absolutely. You
are with what you hear.
You are absolutely. You are absolutely right, because it's always something happening.
It's always something happening.
Look at the news.
It's always something happening all the time, you know. And so for me, no, I don't have to chase comfort. For what? No, just give me the truth, and I'll get my own information from the truth, and I'll create my own inspiration as I move forward into my unique place. Because
exactly, you are absolutely right.
Every leader and every entrepreneur, that's the other thing. You have to find your unique qualifier. Whatever your unique qualifier is, you have to find it and locate it. And let me say this, whatever your unique qualifier is, it is not something that is created, it is discovered. And you can take that to the bank. It's discovered. I built the program. So I built the program, Danya, called the Master Keys of Alignment. And it has everything to do with locating your unique qualifier through alignment. The Master Keys of Alignment. Alignment as a business owner, alignment as a leader, alignment as a ministry, alignment as an organization. In fact, some of the stuff that I said tonight is in that program.
Wow.
And I operate from an organizational leadership perspective through those two business models that we talked about. My vision is my weapon, and unplug potential 365 days of the year. I do not leave that because I found my unique qualifier. I found it.
That's nice. And what is one parting words you want to give to our listeners today when it comes to being the ultimate business leader in 2022?
A parting word that I would give is to know that the goal is not the destination. The goal is the process. The goal is not the destination. The goal is the process. Because you see, go ahead, Danya.
I'm going to borrow that from you.
Oh, go ahead.
And I'm going to give you credit for it. I love that. The goal is not the destination.
The goal is the
process of reaching that goal.
It's the process of reaching that goal. Why, Danya? Because new habits are formed through process.
Exactly.
It's the habits that you employ that guarantee your success, not the steps that you take. Because you and I have taken a lot of steps. but some of those steps did not lead to win-win situations. Some of those
It's-
steps led to learn, and keep on learning some more.
exactly. And that's another thing. People fail to realize that mistakes are lessons learned.
Oh,
You
no
know,
question.
I would rather make 10 mistakes to learn how to do the process better. Because when you're going through those mistakes, you're putting knowledge in your head.
That's
And
exactly right.
a lot of people are afraid to make mistakes. Look at a baby. When a baby is walking, does that baby stop walking when it falls on his butt or falls down and hurts itself a little bit? What they do, they cry a little bit and then they get up and move again.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And then here is the thing. Here's the thing. When we talk about leadership, entrepreneurship, transparency sells just like candy in the store.
Exactly.
There, through your mistakes, there is a story that somebody needs to hear. There's a story. Through we have a document that we use called the sales agenda close when we close sales on small, medium, and large companies, corporations, and organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very time sensitive in that way. And one of the things that we go through when we talk about a sales agenda close is obviously the benefit, the cost to value, which is the benefit, the sales price, which is the benefit. And the last question we ask in that sales agenda close, Danya, is it anything that would prevent you from making an investment in you? Is it
That now
anything
that
that would prevent you from making an
like an
investment in
investment
you?
in you.
In you.
Exactly. And I think a lot of times people want to invest in other people, but they don't want to invest in themselves because they feel that that's being selfish. I don't think that's being selfish because the more you give to yourself, the more you can give to others. That's how I feel.
You know what, Danya? I have a thing with that where I say it just like this. I'm not going to feed the masses and I starve to death.
Exactly.
I'm not feeding the masses and I starve to death. No, no, no.
Exactly.
My grandparents raised me, but they ain't raised me like that. I'm telling you that right now.
Exactly.
I'm not going to feed the masses and I
That is
starve to death. That's not
yeah,
going to
and
work.
that's what I think. Yeah, and I think that a lot, especially women entrepreneurs, we do that a lot. We give, and then we're worn out. And it's like, why didn't they give you? Because you gave them everything. So why would they want to give something to you when they benefit more from the relationship than you did?
That's exactly right. In fact, Danya, I would go as far as to say this. With those type of relationships like that, if you're the smartest person in the room, as they say, you need to change your coat.
Exactly. I always say that. That was one thing I never forget. My
Yeah,
professor in
yeah.
in college, he said this to me. He said, Danya, the one thing I like about you, while everybody else is out there partying and having a good time,
Yeah,
you come to me to study.
right.
You come to me for office hours on a Friday when
Mhm.
everybody else in college have shut down on Thursday.
Yeah,
You say you have any office hours Friday and you are
yeah,
here learning. That's one thing
absolutely.
I always learned. I don't have a lot of friends. And I've learned you don't need a lot of friends. And you're right. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need to get some new friends.
Absolutely. Because see, here's the thing, Danya, and I learned this real good. Trust me when I tell you, I learned this real good, Danya, in my experience. You don't need everybody liking you. You just need the right person liking you. Danya,
Exactly.
let me share this rather quickly with you. I used to be the president of a Toastmasters Public Speaking and Leadership Club called the Life
Uh-huh.
Enhancement Toastmasters Public Speaking and Leadership Club. And I saw with my own two eyes when I first opened up the company, the organization. With my own two eyes, I seen one person write me a check, Danya, for $500 to cover some of my
Wow.
expenses as well as for membership of other people.
Wow.
$500. And when I saw that right there, Danya, I knew right there that I had leadership potential. I knew right there that I had leadership potential. I knew prior to that experience that I had it, but that experience allowed me to believe and to know that I had leadership potential when I saw that.
That's right.
So no, you don't need everybody liking you. You just need the right person liking you. If the right person come along to you and like you, Danya, they will finance your entire vision. And guess
That's
what?
true.
Those people who are assigned to you, Danya, you will never have to worry about them being intimidated by you. You will never have to worry about them being envious or jealous of you. In fact, they will tell you, Danya, and this is based on experience, my experience, they will tell you that what you're doing, I already did it. So you couldn't possibly be a threat to me in no kind of way. I have nothing to do for you but help you. They will
That's a
tell
good
you that.
point.
And trust and believe when I tell you, Danya, I have seen that and I have heard that with my own two eyes and my ears. I've seen it and I've heard it. So no, a person might be able to get me on something, but you can't get me on that.
That's true.
You can't get me
Amen
on
to that.
You can't get. In fact, Danya, I tell you, because of what I've seen, right? I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day. And I was sharing with him that if it's about leadership in the church, I cannot follow behind some other pastor when he's gone to fill his shoes. And the reason being is because the level of my capacity and the vision that I have goes far and beyond him. So therefore, what I would be doing is I would put myself in a position where they had to kick me out the church. And the reason being is because I would redirect the entire platform. And I would not want those.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I would not want, Danya, those people that are there. I would want to bring in my own people. So what that tells me is that I have to write my own bylaws and not follow behind somebody else's bylaws. That's what that tells me. So I would have to start based on my leadership capacity, based on my vision, and based on my administrative skills. I would have to write my own bylaws. I would have to write my own shit. And I'll give you an example of how I know that. When I had my Toastmasters Club, one of the things that they suspended me for, Danya, is because I wouldn't play with the rules. And it wasn't my fault that I wouldn't play with the rules. I'm just one of those people, Danya, that at some point, no matter what you teach me, I'm going to try to do it my own way. I'm going to add a spin to it in some kind of way.
I hear you.
But they couldn't catch my vision in spite of what I was bringing to the table. Because like I said, one person wrote me a check for $500. One person did that. And so they couldn't catch my vision. They didn't have the capacity for it, but that don't mean something wrong with me because you don't understand me. Maybe something wrong with you.
Exactly.
That don't mean something wrong with me because you don't get me.
Leroy, I'm gonna have to have you on again because this was powerful. I learned a lot. Do not exchange hours for dollars, but ideas for dollars.
That's exactly right.
It's the performance gap
and the opportunity gap.
And the opportunity. I take notes. So I'm gonna be going back and doing this. And then my other thing that you said that I loved, where was it? Alignment is key to good success. Now, I want to ask you one thing. How can people get in contact with you?
Oh, you can get in contact with me at speaker@leroyallen.org is my email. My website.
Wait a minute, speaker
at leroyallen.org.
Why am I having trouble spelling your name? Leroy Allen.
Speaker@leroyallen.org. LEROYALLEN.org. And a preferred phone number. It's a company phone number, but 301 327 0926.
0926.
Yep.
All right, I put that information. And Leroy, I want to thank you because you kind of kept me motivated to make
I'm
sure I
glad.
do my ultimate business conversation every week. And you really, really helped me. And I thank you for always, when I put out the call, you are always here.
My
And
pleasure.
I put your information in there. So a few
Uh-huh.
people probably will be reaching out to you.
That's
And
fine.
I hope you have a beautiful evening. And Leroy, this was the best
I'm glad.
for Black History Month. This was a much needed conversation for
I'm glad.
us to be great leaders in our community. And thank
Absolutely.
you so much. And I want you to come. I want you to come back on. I
I
really
will.
do.
I will. I
So
will. The
hit that.
invitation is there. I'm available.
All right. So hit that schedule to come back on,
I
because
will
I
certainly
want
do
you to
so.
talk about your program, your
Okay.
alignment program.
Absolutely.
All
Would
right.
love
Well,
to
you
do so.
have a good evening.
Yep.
And thank you so much for being on.
My pleasure.
All right, everyone. That was Mr. Leroy Allen. And I want to thank him so much for being on. I want to thank him for being here. And that is a much needed discussion that we need to have, because it's been a lot. It's been a lot that we've been going through with this pandemic. This pandemic has been a mess. And it's just been hard. So having him on and him having that conversation has really helped me. And I hope it has helped you to be that great leader in your business, not to give up on your business, not to give up on yourself, and to continue to grow as the entrepreneur you are. And like he said, don't give up on yourself. Create your own opportunities. Alignment is key to great success. There's the opportunity gap where you found the opportunity. There's the performance gap where you go ahead and complete that opportunity. And again, this is Diane Zimmerman, the powerful biz woman. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ultimate Business Conversation. And the Ultimate Business Conversation will be on every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And we will have some amazing business educators who will be our guests. And the key for Ultimate Business Conversation is not to just have a conversation about business, is to teach you and educate you how to be a great business leader, how to be great in your business, how to create a sustainable business that is built on a strong legal and financial foundation, how to bankrupt proof your biz, and how to cover your business assets. And that's what we do at the Ultimate Biz Consultants. We educate you. And that's why we created the show, The Ultimate Biz Conversation, to bring those business educators to you who are willing to teach you and educate you so you can continue to grow in your business, so that your business can stay and sustain. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. And this was our first week, and we're back. The Ultimate Business Conversation is back in effect, and I am so excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a beautiful evening, and I will talk to you next Wednesday, same time, same station.